Have you ever seen a post so retarded that you just were left speechless? That is precisely what I'm about to show you right now, and it is just hilarious. Okay, so apparently everyone who says Star Wars is bad is an alt-right Nazi, right? I knew it was going to come to this some point, and it's hilarious. Anyway, check this out. Alt-right baby men think they control Star Wars. Oh my god. Is that what they call the alt-right now, baby men? It's just the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Alt-right Star Wars fans to start. Yes, we're all alt-right. Right. You criticize Star Wars, you must be a Nazi. You must hate the Jews. You criticize Star Wars? Oh my god. You Nazi bigot. What? Oh my god. I did not think they could get this retarded. I did not think they could get this stupid. I really didn't. But they proved me wrong once again. People have legitimate criticisms and you dismiss them as racist. Wow. Just wow. So anyway, let's take a look at this alt-right baby man. Fulfill your destiny.
Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Is it the best Star Wars film? In my opinion, no. It's worse than Rogue One and The Force Awakens, but better than all the prequels. Fight me! There are a lot of reasons why. Strange characterization choices, lack of Lando, out-of-place Guardians of the Galaxy-esque humor, the whole Canto Bight sequence, but sad baby men, the type who can't write a comment on this video without using the words SJW or snowflake, think their shit politics is why. This is not going to go the way you think!
You know, I might actually be more sympathetic if they actually owned up to the movie's failures and admitted the movie sucked, instead of just passing off blame onto fans of all people. It's not their fault that the movie was a crapshoot. If you don't like the movie, I mean, would you honestly give it a 100% fresh rating? I mean, you know, maybe, you know, it has a 92% fresh rating from the critics, from the professional critics, because of Disney's influence on them. They're basically like paid shells. And also, sad baby men, really? Is that the best insult you have? I mean, it's just utterly laughable. I mean, who writes this stuff? It's just comedy gold. And you want to talk about us being sad baby men? I mean, you know, that's funny. I mean, especially considering how butthurt all the libtards have been since, you know, Trump got elected. But, you know, we're all just Trump supporting bigots and Nazis if we don't like this movie, right? I mean, it's just utterly ridiculous. I mean, you guys have been so butthurt that you even literally had a Scream Helplessly at the Sky event to protest the president.
Do you think screaming into the sky makes your side look good?
Screaming into the sky makes our side look fun.
Fun?
Yeah.
Funny?
Fun.
How do you feel now?
Worse.
You feel better?
Somewhat.
You want a pacifier?
I'll go So
Like, like who does that? Like that only children scream helplessly at the sky when they don't get their way. Unbelievable. But of course, we're the baby men. I guess I'm the biggest Trump supporting alt-right Nazi bigot xenophobe whatever you label you want to put on us now. I mean, like, we've heard it all. We've heard it all at this point. But baby men, wow, yeah, you get an E for effort. So Disney treats its Star Wars fans like utter dirt, and we've been saying this. It isn't like some kind of new thing. Like, we've been saying this since like 2012, but no one has been listening now until the Disney's big ship has just started sinking. I mean, like, we've been on this since like 2012. You know, it isn't new. I mean, where were you? This video just shows just how much of a casual you are, not even really a Star Wars fan. You know, you just get paid to do these crappy movie reviews by the Young Turks. Is what I want to call them. It's just really, really pathetic how you lump everyone who doesn't like something just because they don't like something. Hey, they must be a Nazi racist bigot who doesn't like diversity in roles. It's all clearly because they don't like diversity. Clearly. And that's how they shame you. You can't force people to like your crappy movies. The hate against Disney Disney and Disney Wars and all of that first started when Disney acquired the franchise. We were all like kind of mixed because we were just like, oh, well, Lucas is selling it to this giant empire of a company. That sounds like a bad move. You know, a lot of us were concerned, but some of us who, lack critical thinking were just like, oh, yeah, sure, Disney, oh, Lucas sucks, man. You know, even though he made this franchise, which made your childhood, he somehow is terrible. But anyway, we had 40 years of Star Wars books, games, material that had all been canon up to that point. And then Disney was like, meh, and just threw it all away. And they realized that the stuff that they were coming up with in their own canon was subpar, and so now they're trying to come back to the original canon that we had before, and steal stuff from there and bring it into their own crappy, Star Wars universe. And that had a lot of fans pissed. They're upset over the fact that Disney rebooted the entire Star Wars continuity. That's what a lot of the hardcore fans are upset about, and that's why they protest Disney. They showed huge disrespect to people who have been following Star Wars since the beginning, through the books, through the games. They have been hardcore fans. Huge disrespect by just erasing all of that and saying, you know what, screw that, we're going to do this. And not even considering Lucas's, the creator of the series, his treatment for episodes 7, 8, and 9. Not even considering that. And not even considering the canonicity of the works that he had approved. And if you say the old EU is not canon, I will virtually smack you, because I have numerous sources citing the old EU as canon. Okay, so if you want to have that debate, I mean, I don't know, get at me on Twitter or whatever, and I can wreck you there. But it's just been like one disrespect after another, and it's just like we said before. Okay, Disney, like, even if we're not going to see the characters that we grew up reading about on the big screen, which is a major disappointment. Even if you're going to do your own like little alternate universe, at least continue the original canon, like Star Trek. I believe Star Trek did that when they came out with the new movies, they made it known that it was an alternate universe. They made it known in the movies that the new films are set in an alternate timeline. Okay? They made that known. And with the original Star Wars timeline, they didn't do that. They didn't respect that at all. Okay, that was 40 years of Star Wars just thrown down the drain. So you can imagine why a lot of fans, a lot of long-term fans are very irate and very angry at Disney and refuse to see Star Wars, The Last Jedi, and refuse to acknowledge it as canon. So it's not just because they're alt-right Nazis. You have no idea what is going on in the fan base. You have no idea what makes people tick. You have no idea what is going on in actuality. You're just sitting from your high tower, your high ivory tower, and throwing rocks. You're not in touch with what's going on in the fan base. You're not a real Star Wars fan. You're just some casual shill who gets paid to run damage control for Disney after their crappy product. I mean, we've been rebelling against Disney since they bought the franchise in 2012. So where were you then? Where were you?
How could a movie have a critic score in the 90s but a fan score in the 50s? It doesn't make sense. Exactly. I'm not going to tell you this movie is my favorite or perfect. It isn't, but it isn't that bad. The bad thing about audience vote metrics is they're easy to game with bots. Now, I want to remind you that bots aren't people, okay? So with that in mind, the self-identified alt-right boys who ran the bots to tank the audience score did this to achieve what? To show there's a large contingency of, quote, real fans who don't like when people who aren't white men do anything heroic, who are scared of Finn and Rey and Rose. Did you feel something awaken inside you? That's unfulfilled, unqualified entitlement, and you clearly don't know how to wield it. If your movement is so legitimate, why do you need bots? Someone associated with the page, down with Disney's treatment of franchises and its fanboys, which has under 400 likes, by the way, said, I'm sick of and tired of men being portrayed as idiots. There was a time we ruled society and I want to see that again. That is why I voted for Donald Trump.
Once again, of course, we're all alt-right Nazis. Just because we have movie criticisms about something, we're all just alt-right trolls bringing the ratings down. Really. Out of the thousands of reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, one group with under 340 likes really is bringing the ratings down that much? Really? Tell me how. I mean, the discrepancy between the ratings of professional critics and actual moviegoers, the actual audience, the fans, is so wide because maybe, just maybe, these are actual people reviewing these things and not just bots. Did bots do all of these reviews? Wait, let me just show you real quick. How many of these actually, out of 1,658 bots, right? I mean, pages of bots, right? Hands down, the worst Star Wars movie ever made. Yada yada. These couldn't be real people, right? These couldn't be real people giving this movie half stars, right? And yeah, while bots do happen, they do have legit people who are very concerned and who express their disappointment at the movie. And you act like Disney doesn't have their bots and paid shills to promote their own movie and give it 5 stars. Like that doesn't happen at all. Clearly. Yeah, The Last Jedi will be the last Star Wars film I watch. Yeah, it's clearly a bot. Don't waste your money. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Clearly all bots. Clearly all bots. I mean, can one group really bring the score down that much? Really? Think about it. I mean, wow. Wow. These all must be bots. I saw one review that said, oh, I specifically made an account on Rotten Tomatoes. I can't really find it right now, but I found it earlier. I specifically made an account on Rotten Tomatoes just to downvote this crappy movie. And it's the more I dissect this movie, the more I dislike it. It was massively underwhelming. It had gaping plot holes. Wow. Totally all bots. I am in fact in creating my first Rotten Tomatoes account just so I can express some of my thoughts and hopefully stop being bothered about this movie. I really wanted to like this movie and blah 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 blah. 2.5 stars. Wow. Oh my god. Jeez, this guy goes absolutely in on this movie. This is totally a bot, clearly. Clearly a bot. Just some guy spamming, right? Clearly. Unbelievable. And all of his criticisms are clearly about race. And that there are just too many diverse characters, right? This is so stupid. It's like, how do you people function? This is exactly why Gamergate happened, why Trump won, why everything is going wrong for you guys, for the liberal side of the political spectrum. It's because dishonesty, agenda pushing, and just disingenuous, tactics like shaming and just paying off reviewers to give your game or your movie a good review so that it can sell, and then when it gets on the market and people realize that it's a crappy game and it flops, or a crappy movie and it flops, then you shame them by saying, oh, you're just a racist and you're just a Nazi. All video gamers, all moviegoers, all Star Wars fans are Nazi, racist, bigots, and whatever kind of horrible label you want to put on us. It's not going to work. You're not going to shame us into liking a crappy movie. You're not going to shame us into liking what Disney has done to Star Wars fans, has done to Lucas's franchise. And you can't pay off the fans to write great reviews about this movie. You can't pay off the fans to just accept what a crappy film it is. But you can pay off the professional critics to blow smoke up their butt about this film. And their shaming tactics is pitiful. It's just like, if you're, the only way like they can handle criticism is just by passing the blame on to someone else, and it's really pathetic.
Oh no! Someone's got to project those insecurities. My God! And they call us snowflakes.
Maybe it's because you assume everyone's a Nazi.
It's not snow, it's salt. Amazing. Every word of what you just said was wrong. If you can't compete with women and other races or feel threatened because you're of weak character yourself, do you A, realize we're all people and not one group is inherently owed anything like whatever jobs or attention they crave or godlike treatment, or B, tank a Star Wars movies fan rating? Okay, great use of your time and resources. Specifically, the group, which again has fewer than 400 likes, and there's no telling how many of those are bots, which again aren't people, takes umbrage with Star Wars for, quote, introducing more female characters into the franchise's universe. By the way, I want to point out the original trilogy only had 3 female speaking roles that weren't Leia, and I'm counting a random nameless Rebel Alliance member in one scene. So yeah, for the sake of the Star Wars galaxy, bring in more female characters!
I mean, does this seem like a bot to you? Does the sales plunge seem like a bot to you? Like a bot did that? Ridiculous. I mean, yeah, you idiots would be more worried about having to meet some kind of retarded diversity quota instead of having well-rounded, well-written female characters like we had in the Star Wars Expanded Universe before Disney rebooted everything. But we don't care about that. The fans don't care about that. We don't care about there being enough female characters on screen. We care about how well a character is written. We care about what drives a character, what drives that person to do what they do, what motivates them. Okay? We don't care about, oh, just having a black character there just for the sake of having one. That's tokenism, okay? And if you have that, token characters, same thing, you know, you guys railed against back in the day, that's covertly racist, because it's just like, we don't really want to have these characters here. They're just here for the scenery. They're just here to be that black guy. They're just here to be that that Asian guy, but in space. You know, it's just like, they're just here to be that alien guy that gives this place diversity. You know, oh, they're just here to be that trans character, yeah, in the background somewhere. They're not here to be a well-written character that has struggles to overcome or something like that. That doesn't make their sexuality or their skin tone a big deal for them. You know, so you would be more worried about a diversity quota than having well-written characters. You know, you're not whining and pissing and moaning about how strong of a female character Leia was. No. But instead, you're going to whine that there weren't enough females there just for the sake of being there. You know, because it should all be female, and, you know, we hate having guys. You know, feminists should just admit they hate men. I don't know why they try to keep the charade up. You can guess what? George Lucas didn't create Star Wars to pander to feminists either. Specifically to, you know, stupid feminists like you. So you keep showing this one group that has under 400 likes, you know, and you do realize there are way more anti-Disney Star Wars groups out there. You of course you don't, because you're not in the loop. You don't know what's going on. You're talking about something like you're an authority to speak on the subject, but you have no idea what is happening in the Star Wars fan base. There are way over 400 likes or whatever, 400 members in some of the groups I'm in. So, and they all detest Disney. So, I don't know who this guy is, but by even making this video, you're just making him more popular, or whoever runs this group. So, yeah, there are a ton of people out there that despise Disney. A lot of the original canon fans despise Disney, and they're the ones creating these groups. And what you're doing is you're giving us even more of a platform to speak on, and I guess I can thank you for that. But screw you for trying to paint us all as Nazis, really. Like, are you freaking stupid? Oh wait, I don't even know why I'm asking that question. Yeah, I mean, do you feel ignorant yet? I mean, how ignorant do you feel? The fact that it just never occurs to you that you may not have a clue as to, like, what you're talking about.
Members of the Down with Disney group also think Poe Dameron, Oscar Isaac, has become a victim of the anti-mansplaining movement. Not that, oh, you know, he needed to learn a valuable lesson about respect and grow as a successful human and leader.
Citation.
They're really grinding their gears that Poe and Luke Skywalker are, quote, in danger of being turned gay. They must have watched the movie on the big screen, because that's a lot of projection going on here.
No, it is not a projection. Okay, especially when freaking everyone on the internet, when The Force Awakens came out, was like, oh my god, like, you know, like, let's make Luke and Poe gay, and, like, you know, they were just like, whoa, like, you know, like, hold up, like what? Luke is a straight dude, and, you know, so it's not like it's a projection. Like, there were articles all over the place about how Luke might be gay in the next movie or something like that, or how Finn and Poe might be together or something like that. You know, how they might, you know, take some random Tumblr fan fiction and make it reality. So it was a legitimate criticism, and it's not like they were just pulling it out of thin air. Like, they were clearly pushing their agenda to make this character homosexual. Like, hold on. Like, even way back in the day, like, look here, a Time magazine, Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker could be gay in the next movie, blah, blah, blah. Could Luke be gay? I'd say it is meant to be interpreted by the viewer. If you think Luke is gay, of course he's gay. Like, just the way they were trying to, like, force this on this franchise, and to mess with Luke's character and make him that, when we both know that he isn't. And they're like acting like it's not a legitimate concern. It is very much a legit concern when you it's like they're pulling an Iceman, like what they did with Iceman in Marvel Comics. He's been probably the straightest character in all of the Marvel for like maybe 40 years, like since the 60s, and it was just embarrassing how they turned him into some kind of token gay character just to have gay characters there. So fans have every right to be, sort of wary of that. But, I mean, like, if Poe turns out to be gay, like, I personally don't care because, at least they're not messing with an established character. So I guess that's less terrible, I guess, but it's still kind of agenda pushing,
Unless future Star Wars installments include overtly romantic storylines with same sex, it isn't going to happen, and it isn't dangerous to anyone who's not stupid. Storm Pilot forever. So, listen, getting back to the movie, The Last Jedi didn't work for me as the sum of its parts as a Star Wars film despite novel filmmaking choices. Several reviewers and fans have expressed similar opinions without wetting any alt-right diapers, so please, ineffectual douchebags, don't confuse your insecurities and fear of women and people who aren't lily white with legitimate film criticism, with all due respect, which is none. Star Wars is about hope. Do you think it's a mistake that the Rebel Alliance and the Resistance are typically shown as diverse, whereas the Imperials and the First Order are typically severe old white men? Do you think it's a mistake that the villains are modeled after the Third Reich? Isn't it strange how no one tied to the movies, especially Mark Hamill, is down with your shitty attitudes? I know it's hard to pick up on in these scenes or other classics like Indiana Jones and old Wonder Woman comics, but Nazis are and always have been the bad guys. For all your alt-right tears and fist-pounding, Star Wars wasn't made to fillet you as much as you feel entitled to it. But, I mean, awesome job. The movie has only made $850 million and growing and is the second highest grossing picture of the year, at least. Despite their efforts to strike it down, the film has only become more powerful. Imagine that.
Very glad that you're done. Because we are not Nazis. We are Star Wars fans. And he did the same thing with Gamergate, the same thing that happened with Gamergate. Y'all try to portray every video gamer that ever played a video game, ever picked up a controller as Nazis, and we were not having it. You're not speaking for us. You're not speaking for any of these ethnic minorities. We're not all Nazis that secretly want to kill minorities. No, we're not. A couple alt-righters just happen to be Star Wars fans. That doesn't mean does that mean every Star Wars fan is all of a sudden a Nazi? Like, the way you're trying to portray every Star Wars fan that dislikes this movie and claims to be a Star Wars fan is now an alt-right racist, Nazi that only cares about white people. I hate the movie, and I'm black, so I'm as African as an African American can get. But this whole video is just one big cringe fest. I had to come out and say something because it was just so stupid. Once again, the Young Turks are up to their old tricks. I mean, just look at some of these comments. Hold up. It's not that we, Jared says, it's not that we hate women, it's that we hate bad characters. Get some good women actors and some good character development, and you wouldn't need to be here calling people names. Sam says, I think you're trying too hard to make this about politics. It's just Star Wars fanboys that didn't like the plot of the movie. Aiden, the thing is, they aren't wrong. You're all a bunch of butt-hurt babies, whether you admit it or not. Get over yourself. John saying, she makes a 4-minute video because of some troll on Facebook laughing my ass off. And she's telling these dudes to do better things with their time. Oh my god. When, okay, this shit has officially gone too far. Okay, the fans kind of hate the movie, big who cares. Now we have post-bashing, the fans calling them alt-right. That's just wrong. Connor, not liking shitty characters makes us alt-right, lol. Callum, acknowledge the Armenian genocide chick. Oh my god. Alberto, so wait, if I don't like this movie, I'm automatically a racist, bigoted, alt-right Klansman? Psst, alright, let me go get my SS gear on while we're out at it. And I'll go set fire to a cross in front of black family's house and kick babies while saying Jews ruin America. I mean, okay, you get why this is stupid, right? I mean, Lucas, when he was in charge, when he created new characters, he created new races. He had each character have a background story and lore within the expanded universe, and each character in his movies had a motivation, had a goal. They weren't just the sum of their parts. They weren't just the gay guy, the straight guy, the white guy, the black guy. Like it's like like a bunch of walking stereotypes. And they weren't just that, because he wasn't focused on that. That wasn't his goal. Wasn't to focus on identity politics in space. His goal was to focus on what happens when the government turns evil. What happens when good people are corrupted? Can they be saved? And it was a story about falling and getting back up and realizing who you are. It's about fathers and sons, and you've taken that, hijacked it and said, well, we don't like men, so we'll just make this about, all women. And people notice stuff like that. It's very obvious agenda pushing. And while I like a balanced cast, I mean, we could have had Leia being a Jedi Master, but of course Disney didn't keep the original expanded universe in which she was a Jedi Master and a strong female character. We would have had that, but of course we didn't. And you wonder why Star Wars fans are pissed, because all of this stuff that you're whining and moaning about was in the original canon, and now it's gone. And so you would think that you would be pissed at Disney as much as the next Star Wars fan. But you're not, because you're a casual. Anyway, this is your boy Coast. I mean, I don't know what else to say about this stupidity other than, it's just like the most retarded thing I've ever seen come out of the Young Turks in a long time, and maybe a whole 6 months. We are not friggin' Nazis, and you're not going to use ethnic minorities as some kind of shield to get behind and start stereotyping other groups as Nazis. I mean, we're not Nazis. You're not going to get behind ethnic minorities to start insulting people Star Wars fans who legit have legit criticisms of this film and shaming them as Nazis. No, you're not. Movies and their characters in the movies, it's not about what sect of diversity you are or how you stack up in the progressive stack. It is about what kind of characters in the movie. It's not about tokenism. It's about the individual character. Tokenism, like the one like what you're hoping for, just having women on the screen just for being women, and blacks on the screen just for being blacks, is what kills films. It turns them into nothing but another exploitation film, like in the 70s, like a blaxploitation kind of movie, or all the things, and then you hate stuff like that. Like Like, liberals hate stuff like that. Like, they hate blaxploitation because it's racist. But then you're complaining that there aren't enough, when there's all black people being as black as possible, then it's just like, you know, you have something to complain about there. You know, oh, it's stereotyping. Well, that is what we're trying to stress. It's just, your political ideology is what is ruining Star Wars and what is ruining fandom all over the place. It is infectious and it is cancerous. Like, it is just not even funny. No wonder why so many people hate you guys. Because you are dishonest and disingenuous and you literally have no clue what you're talking about. It's your boy Kos, signing off. Happy New Year.